Now that we've covered the verb system, it would be useful to have some nouns. Remember from elementary school English that a noun is a person, place, thing, or idea. It'd be nice to have a nouns so that those nouns could do those verbs, could do those actions, and that those actions could be done to other nouns. Latin nouns are slightly different from English nouns. Actually, they're quite a bit different in that they're going to change the form, that is their endings, to tell what their function is in the sentence. So let's take a look at how they're different. First of all, every noun has three characteristics. That is, every noun you run into in a sentence is going to have a particular gender. Latin has three genders of nouns. These are grammatical genders. The first is masculine. The second is feminine. And the third is neuter. And these nouns aren't going to, the genders aren't going to change with a noun. That is, that a noun which is masculine in the dictionary will be masculine in your sentence. A few may be either masculine or feminine. So citizen could be masculine or feminine. But by and large, they don't change. And it's determined really by the dictionary. The dictionary is what you need to use to determine the gender of a noun. Every noun you run into in a sentence is also going to have number. Latin has two numbers, singular and plural, just like verbs. There are some language systems which have more than these two, but we don't worry about that here. And like English, here English is similar. That is, when you run into a noun in a sentence, you can tell by the way it's spelled whether it's singular or plural for the most part. And then every noun that you run into in a sentence is going to have case. This case is going to determine the function in the sentence. Okay, so how it's being used in a sentence. Whereas in English, the function of a noun is determined largely by its position in the sentence. In Latin, it's the ending. Right? And gender, number, and case, these are important. Keep these in mind, that if somebody asks you to parse a noun, what they're really doing is asking you to tell you its gender, its number, and its case. Now, the cases themselves. The first case we run into is the nominative, and this is usually showing us the subject of a sentence. So, in the sentence, Titus runs, Titus is the subject, Titus would be in the nominative. He's the one doing the action. Or we could have Marcus picks flowers. Marcus is the one doing the picking. He's the subject. We could also have a sentence like Julius is bad. Julius is the subject of the sentence. He's the one we're talking about. He's the one who is being. But this sentence is unique because is a copulative. It's like a big equal sign. And so Julius is bad. Bad is also going to be nominative. We call this the predicate nominative. The second case, the genitive, for the most part, most commonly shows us possession. In English, of blank or blanks, apostrophe S. You might say that Marcus's car doesn't work. In this sentence, car is the subject, it's the nominative because it's the thing that's not working. Marcus possesses the car, so he's going to be in the genitive. Right? Or the mother of Titus is nice. The subject is mother. She's the one who is nice. And Titus, he's the genitive. He's in the genitive case because he's the one who's possessing the mother. The third of our cases is the dative. And the most common use of the dative, actually there are a number of different uses, but really we can translate this as to or for, and one of the common uses is as an indirect object. So, I give money to Titus. I am the subject. I'm the nominative. Money is the thing that's being given. And to Titus is the indirect object. Titus is going to be in the dative case. I give money to Titus. Or tell us a story. Another way we could say this is tell a story to us. So here's a command, story, to us, or us here. Tell us a story. Us would be in the dative case because we're the indirect object. The fourth case, accusative, shows us the direct object. And the accusative too will have other uses, but the most common one that we're going to run into in the beginning is as direct object. So in that sentence we go, I give money to Titus. Remember, I am the subject. Titus is the indirect object. Money is the thing that's being given. Money is in the accusative case. It's the direct object. So it's the thing that's being acted upon directly by the verb. Money is the thing being given. Not Titus, but money. Or, in that sentence, tell us a story. In this, remember, us was the indirect object. We're being indirectly acted upon, but really, it's the story, that's the accusative. Tell a story to us. Tell us a story. Story would be in the accusative. The final case, the ablative, I'm not going to say a whole lot about here. It's used in very many ways. One of the most common ways is as the object of certain prepositions. And in your dictionary, you'll see sometimes, so the preposition in, and then sometimes in parentheses plus the ablative. So if I say, I live in the sea, sea is the object of the preposition in, so sea would be in the ablative. Or, in the sentence, walk with us. This preposition with takes the ablative case. That's the language that we use. Is a preposition takes a case. Here, with takes the ablative, so us would be in the ablative. Now, some keys to really being able to master nouns. First, memorize those case names in that order. You're going to be memorizing various case names. It's just good to know in what order they come. And then internalize the basic case functions. So memorize case names in the order: nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, ablative, when it comes time to actually forming the nouns, you're going to memorize the endings in this order, memorize those case names, and then internalize the basic case functions: subject, possession, indirect object, direct object, and objects and prepositions and other sorts of things. One other note about nouns that's important to know is that Latin nouns have, Latin in general, has no articles. In Latin, there's no word for the, or a, or an. So when you're translating, you have to provide these articles if they're necessary in English. Right? This is actually a generally good thing to keep in mind when dealing with Latin, is that Latin does not equal English. There are things that Latin does that English doesn't, and there are things that English does that Latin doesn't. They're just two different languages.